Greetings. This is Antonio Wicks, and I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dr. Wick Daddy Show. The strangest thing happened to me when I was trying to go live on Instagram and do this. My video was fully recorded with no audio, and I have some suspicions as to why, but rather than run the risk of it happening again, I'm recording this, so it'll be uploaded to YouTube, and I'll just share the link on Instagram. So here we go. First off, happy Memorial Day. This is May 30th, 2022. Salute to all of the veterans that have given the ultimate sacrifice. Also salute your families as well, and appreciate your sacrifice. And that's one of the reasons we enjoy the lifestyle that we do here today in these United States of America. So, as the video is entitled, this is my testimony. So, this is going to be a multi-episode series because I cannot squeeze it all into one video. So, I'll start out by just acknowledging the shirt that I'm wearing, because this episode is dedicated to the person that actually gave it to me, and his name is Walter David Donald. He went home to be with the Lord years ago. He's passed away, but he was one of my spiritual mentors, confidants, friends. He was a very important person to me, very instrumental in my walk with Christ. So I want to salute him today as well. And I'm wearing this shirt in his honor. It's one of my favorite shirts. So here we go. This year I turned 52, and this is a milestone for me personally because I spent the first 26 years of my life really kind of doing what I wanted to do, and then the second 26 years was as a follower of Jesus Christ. So this series is going to be dedicated to my testimony, and so I got to give you a little bit of background. It's going to be really humorous and hopefully impactful for at least a few people, because the goal is to share my story, hopefully be a blessing to others, because there are lots of people that are struggling with different issues, whether it be mental health, substance abuse, or just having what I call a God-shaped void in their lives. So hopefully this video will be an encouragement to you. So with that being said, 52 this year, and in 1996, that was the year that I actually turned 26 and became a follower of Christ. So a few years prior to that, or actually I should say 1 year prior. So let's start at about 1995. So being from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I grew up in a little neighborhood called Easy Town, and so it was probably, I think, like most other areas, it was a middle-class community, and it was a diverse community. We had some people that were very established two-parent households. We had some single-parent households, some homeowners, and there were some people also, obviously, that rented apartments. But in that part of town, with the guys that I grew up with, there were about 10 of us. And of those 10, I'll tell you that only 2 of us are alive today. And the majority of those people passed away in their 20s, just because of the lifestyle. So long story short, at about the age of 12 was when I began to kind of experiment with drugs and alcohol. And that followed me at different points in my life from the age of 12 up until the age of 26. So in that span of time, I spent about 6 years in the Air Force, and when I separated from the Air Force, I was in San Antonio, Texas, which is where I now reside. So even though I was in a new state and a new city, when I got out of the military and I didn't have that structure anymore, I kind of reverted back to the lifestyle I led before. which was, as I mentioned, or may or may not have mentioned, I'm not sure, but it was just riddled with substance abuse. And it was nicotine, and I do classify nicotine for me as a substance that I abused, as well as alcohol and marijuana. And towards the last 12 months, from 1995 to 1996, that addiction grew, because a gentleman that was my distributor, okay, and I've used the term before, I consider myself to be, I always thought of myself as a businessman, even when I was in the hood. So I coined the term OPD, which is an organic pharmaceutical distributor. Okay, so that was how I classified myself. And but anyway, I was really good at talking to people, and so because I was such a good salesperson, this gentleman started not only paying me, but he decided, I guess, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, but instead of paying me in cash, he started to pay me with cocaine. And so that last 12 months of my substance abuse, I was snorting cocaine. And it had gotten to the point to where, without me even realizing it, I was age, I think, 25. And I had gotten down to about 125 pounds. And so while I was still out there, so to speak, I went to a nightclub in San Antonio, and I can't remember the name of it, but I went there, and when I arrived at this nightclub, I was in the corner just kind of chilling out. And for those of you that don't know, when you are in the drug game, if you are well known, you don't have a cover charge at the club scene, because you provide services to a lot of the people there, so you don't pay, you just kind of walk in. So I was in the corner, just chilling out, and I heard this female voice in the corner, and she said, "Man, you know what? These guys in San Antonio, they are whack. They don't even really know how to party and have a good time. Probably can't even dance." And so I just kind of chuckled to myself, because I really prided myself on my skills on the dance floor. So I took that as a personal challenge. So anyway, I went over and I was like, "Excuse me?" So I asked her to dance. We started dancing, and I never really had contact with her again. But one thing I did do is that I got her name, and I gave her my name. And I asked her, I was like, "What is your name?" And she just kind of shrugged, and she was like, "My name's Diane." So I remembered that name, and she said, "Well, what's your name?" So I told her, "Well, they call me Prince," because at that time, and probably still up until today, I am and have always been probably the biggest Prince fan that I know of. And so she said, "Prince." So she gave me that look. And so we parted ways, and like I said, that we really didn't have an exchange after that. That was the last time that I had seen her. And this was, again, fall of 1995. So some time passes, and I'll be sharing some other stories with you during this 1 year period from 95 to 96, because it was a real active period for me. But anyway, Easter Sunday rolled around, 1996, and my wife, who was then my girlfriend, had been going to this church. She was kind of sneaking in, and well, she wasn't sneaking in. She was going to women's meetings. She was sneaking behind my back, because I didn't know that she was doing this. And so she said, "Babe, you know what? It's Easter Sunday. Let's go ahead and let's go to church." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I'll go to church, but if it don't work, I'm coming home and I'm getting high." And that was really a big deal for me, because like the night before, I had just scored a QP. I had just gotten a quarter pound of marijuana, and a lot of people knew that a lot of my close associates knew I had made this purchase, and some others. And so I said, "Okay, cool, that's fine. We'll go." And I have my plan B in place. So we go to church, and we get to the church. I sit up in the balcony in the cheap seats. Now remember, I'm a drug dealer. I'm active. Okay, so when I go to church, I don't have on church clothes. I have on club attire. So if you want to Google this, you can Google the word houndstooth. I had on a houndstooth zoot suit. I had on several gold chains. This was the 90s, so I had the Motorola brick phone, old school, one of the first cell phones. I think it was like 95 cents a minute for plans back then. And you know, I had the hoop earrings, long hair. And I'm gonna give you another image I want you to Google, because a lot of people called me when this came out. Drake, the rapper, was on Saturday Night Live, and he was doing a skit where he was imitating Cat Williams. So if you look at an image of him on that skit, and you'll even see this on my Facebook page, some people tagged me and they were like, Wicks, this is you, man. I'm telling you, this is you. So so that was kind of the vibe. That was the look that I had, you know, long hair, and I had on this corduroy multicolored cap. And I'll tell you, it was just crazy. And I had on some burgundy Doc Martens and just, you know, lots of jewelry, just rings, everything. It was just crazy, right? So I'm sitting in church. Everybody's probably staring at me. I'm not real sure, but anyway, I was sitting in church, and I began to feel what I describe as like a ball of lava that was pooling up in my chest. And it was crazy because I just remember looking over at my girlfriend, who's my wife now, and I said, listen, if you don't go down there, I'm going down there. And so pastor was preaching, God was dealing with me. I walked down to the altar. I want to give my life to Christ. And then all of a sudden, I start walking, and I see out of my peripheral vision these men, and they're motioning and doing hand signals and saying stuff like, get him, get him. And so, hold on for 1 minute. I'm going to pause this because I want to make sure my audio is good. Hang on. Okay, audio's good. So they're motioning, and I go down to the altar. I say the sinner's prayer, give my life to God, and as I'm being prayed for, what I describe it as is it tasted like aspirin that was running down from my sinuses down the back of my throat. And it was God just doing an internal cleansing, and that was really just I think the cocaine was just draining from my sinuses. And really from that day, Easter Sunday, 1996 to May 30th, 2022, I've been totally delivered from nicotine, alcohol, marijuana, cocaine. It's just been, I know a 12-step program is what we're accustomed to hearing about, but this is a one-step for me. And I really believe that it was God just showing me what he was capable of doing if I surrendered to his plans for my life. So that was pretty much it. And so I want to end on this part because I think this will be a good stopping part for the next video. But as I was going to this church, I got plugged into this program that they had. It was called The Most Excellent Way. And it was for people who were coming out of an addictive lifestyle. I mean, there was people there, people was in prostitution, coming out of prison. It was a mixed bag of people from the club scene. And so I walk into this meeting. And when I walk into this meeting, I see a familiar face. And so I'm looking across the room, and light bulb went on and it clicked, and I said, Diane, is that you? And so she gives me this look like, my name is not Diane, it's Tara. And I was like, okay, my bad. I mean, you know, that I'm sorry. But what had happened was she had given me her club name. And so that was the deal with the discomfort that I was picking up. So anyway, she and I we formed a friendship, we connected before church, but that relationship continued, and even still to this day, I've talked with her, I think probably within the past couple of days. We just had a good conversation, laughed, cried, prayed, all of that good stuff. But she asked me a question during that meeting at church, and that question I think was really pivotal for me and my walk with Christ in the days, weeks, and really in the months and years that followed. And I'm grateful to her for being a godly woman and asking me that question. Now, what was that question? You will have to find out by tuning in to part 2. All right. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Have a great day. God bless, and thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Wick Daddy Show. You can comment below, hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell so you'll be notified when part 2 is up. God bless.